Good morning, my name is Matthew Hugo from Weather Commerce, and this is this morning's weather brief on Friday the 16th of September. Today's weather brief will cover a summary on the West European 5-day average temperatures, the UK, Europe, Scandinavian precipitation, and finally global weather alerts. Firstly, we'll take a summarised look at the mean surface temperatures across Europe. And between days 11 and 15, model agreement and consistency continues today from previous days, and the majority, if not all, of the available forecast models maintain temperatures very near to climate norms across the majority of Europe between days 11 and 15. Also, as with previous days, there is generally little change once again between days 6 and 10. The majority of the available forecast models continue to signal temperatures very near to climate averages, though perhaps just trending slightly above by 1 or 2 degrees, particularly across some central and southern areas of Europe. And finally, between days 2 and 5, it is of worth to highlight that some recent technical problems continues to affect some of the West European map view temperatures. For example, Switzerland and Austria are forecast to have well below climate average temperatures, which is unlikely. Overall, between days 2 and 5, temperatures are forecast to continue to be either near or perhaps trending slightly above, particularly across central and western areas of Europe. Now taking a look at the United Kingdom in some closer detail. And model agreement and consistency continues today from previous days, and between days 11 and 15, with the exception of some milder GFS outliers, the majority of the other available forecast models and also my specific temperature forecast, as represented by the solid red line, has temperatures very near to climate averages, though perhaps just trending slightly above by around 1 or 2 degrees. Also, between days 6 and 10, there continues to be good model agreement and consistency from previous days, and as a result, confidence levels are medium to high to suggest that temperatures will be very near to climate averages, though perhaps just trending slightly above, but only by 1 degree Celsius. There continues to be little or no signal for any extremes of temperatures between days 6 and 10. And finally, within the short term, confidence levels are high given excellent model agreement and consistency for temperatures over and during the weekend of the 17th and 18th of September to be near or perhaps just trending slightly below climate averages by around 1 degree Celsius. And also it is worth to highlight that once again there is little signal from the available forecast models to signal any extremes of temperatures across the UK within the next 7 to 14 days. And finally, taking a look at the latest ECMWF 32-day ensemble model comparison graph as represented by the solid red lines, you can see that as we progress into the opening first half of October, the latest ECMWF long-range forecast is signalling temperatures to be generally trending slightly below, if not below, climate averages across the UK and also many other western areas of Europe. Surface temperatures could well be at least 2 or perhaps 3 degrees below climate means, with perhaps a particularly cool first half of October possible. We're now taking a look at the expected European temperatures in closer detail. And again, there continues to be little significant change compared with previous days between days 11 and 15, and that is for most areas of Europe to have temperatures very near to climate norms. The latest Benelux model comparison graph helps to illustrate this temperature prediction, and as you can see within the highlighted red circle covering days 11 to 15, with the exception of some milder GFS outliers, the majority of the available forecast models, including my specific temperature forecast, as represented by the solid red line, has temperatures very near or perhaps just trending slightly above climate averages by 1 or 2 degrees. Very little variation in temperatures is forecast between days 6 and 10, and for a good number of days now, the majority of the available forecast models continue to signal temperatures very near to climate averages between days 6 and 10 as well. Some central and western areas of Europe in particular, across France and Spain for example, may have temperatures trending 1 or perhaps 2 degrees above climate averages, but overall near average temperatures are forecast across most areas. Using the latest Spain model comparison graph, you can see that within the highlighted red circle, which generally covers days 6 to 10, there is very good model agreement to suggest that temperatures are likely to be around 2 or 3 degrees above a climate mean of around 20 or 21 degrees between days 6 and 10. Other areas of Europe are likely to have temperatures just 1 or 2 degrees above climate norms. And finally, between days 2 and 5, as mentioned earlier, some technical issues of late are causing some of the forecast models to be significantly below climate norms. These should be dismissed, and overall temperatures across the majority of Europe are forecast to be near or trending slightly above climate averages between days 2 and 5. And now moving on to take a look at the expected precipitation totals across Scandinavia. and trends from previous days continues today, and that is for most areas of Scandinavia to have a particularly wet 7 to 14 days, but especially across Norway, where precipitation totals across some southern and western areas may well exceed 100 to 125 millimetres, which is comfortably 300% of normal. Somewhat drier than average conditions may develop within the longer term across some southern regions of Sweden and also Finland. However, this signal is relatively new, and overall, the next 7 to 14 days are likely to be quite wet across most areas of Scandinavia, with generally above average precipitation totals. And finally, taking a look at global weather alerts, which highlight significant deviations from normal. And a trend from previous days continues today, and that is for many areas of Australia, particularly over the next 7 to 10 days, but perhaps even up to 14 days, to have very little precipitation totals. Most areas are likely to see less than 25% of normal, and many places may well experience little or no measurable rainfall within the next 7 to 14 days. There continues to be a signal and trend as well for many central and eastern areas of China to have temperatures generally below climate averages throughout the next 7 to 10 days at least. Mean surface temperatures of generally between 10 and 15 degrees are forecast, which is at least 4 to 6 degrees below climate norms, in what is forecast to be a particularly cool period of weather from mid-September. Thank you for listening to today's weather brief. Goodbye.